Hey everybody, how's it going? Well, decided to shoot a video today and pulled out 10 records, predominantly thrash and some crossover thrash there. So 10 favorite thrash and crossover thrash records as of right now. We've all had that feeling where we listen to a couple records that we normally go to and they just don't hit that itch. These are records that have been hitting the itch basically. So for the last 2 weeks I've been listening to these a lot and decided to just go ahead and make a video about it. Says, I think I might title this 10 thrash or crossover thrash records that are hitting the itch, so to speak. Anyway, I'm gonna get on with this. In the background we're gonna be listening to Vendetta. I'll fast forward to the next song. This is the sound I've been listening to lately. It's really good German thrash right here. Vendetta, Go and Live, Stay and Die. I thought about making my favorite German metal or German thrash metal albums of all time, my favorites, and this would be one of them. So that's what we're listening to in the background. It's not part of the list. Let's get to the list. But isn't that badass? Yeah, so that's what I've been in the mood for, something along that line. So, first thing on my list I've been listening to over and over again is Acid Rain, The Fear, released in, I want to say 89, I'm pretty sure 89 or 90, 88, somewhere around there. UK thrash, and just a fantastic record. When I first heard this band, I thought maybe they're a bit of a joke band. Judging by that cover, you'd think so. And the opening track is 25 seconds. You never know when the nibbles will strike, is the name of that track. Which, WTNWS, kind of silly. And a lot of lip smacking. But then when it gets into like reflections of truth, that's just all-out thrash metal song that has riffs for days. Just fantastic stuff. Humanoia, The Fear, the title track is awesome. Blind Aggression is one of my favorite tracks on it. It's really progressive. It's cool, unique guitar harmonies. Yeah, 88 is when this was recorded. So it says September 88. So I'm assuming it was released in 89. But I like that. United Kingdom, Apple Core. I believe on Moshkenstein, well, on this one too, Moshkenstein, this hat has that as well. But anyway, I'm going to put a description or the link in the description below. Fantastic record. Just definitely look this one up. What's funny is I was listening to this record, scrolling for Instagram, and Cloudy had just posted their more recent album. For some reason, it just struck me funny because you never hear about these guys, and then when you play it, turn on YouTube or something like that, or Instagram or Facebook, and all of a sudden Acid Rain's on there. Oh, it happens every time. So number 10, been listening to this a lot lately. Next one up is a crossover band, Cryptic Slaughter. Speak Your Peace. It's my favorite, personally, my favorite Cryptic Slaughter album. I do like Money Talks and Convicted, I think is what it's called. But this one is the first one I heard, and I've always gravitated to it. I really like the production on this album. Is just fucking excellent. It's just excellent. I love it. I believe it's the last album they recorded together before they broke up, or maybe they broke up and then they reformed to record this. I can't remember how it goes. I believe the band's from Santa Monica. This was released in 1990, and this is a really killer freaking crossover thrash record, in my opinion. Born Too Soon, the opening track I love. Insanity by Numbers is a good one. Death Styles of the Poor and Lowly. There's some really weird kind of voivod moments in this album, I feel. But this is a fucking fantastic one. Definitely check this one out. Cryptic Slaughter, Speak Your Peace, fantastic one. And going back to some more like skateboard days, crossover thrash, Suicidal Tendencies, released in '88. I'm a huge Suicidal Tendency fan. I like all the first two albums before this one. This is their third album. I like those two a lot, but this one's my favorite one. But I Can't Even Smile Today. How Will I Laugh Tomorrow? I have that backwards, I know, but How Will I Laugh Tomorrow When I Can't Even Smile Today gets stuck in my head. I have another, like the EP that has like 3 different versions of that track, the acoustic and the video edit, and then a heavy version, I believe, and then some other tracks from like the No Mercy days. But this album just fucking rules. Trip at the Brain, I love that. Hearing Voices, the title track, How Will I Laugh Tomorrow, Surf and Slam, kind of I think that's an instrumental. But Sorry, that's another one. The Feeling's Back. This is a really classic crossover thrash metal album that just really doesn't really need any introduction, but definitely check this one out. I didn't realize how much crossover I did have in this, but I'm glad I'm going to title it the way I am. This is the first DRI album I heard, was the bandit and the album that named the genre. Because crossover thrash is basically, we all know what it is. It's hardcore punk with thrash metal elements. And this is the first one I heard. The 5-Year Plan. When I heard that track, I had to buy this album. And love that. Tear It Down, A Coffin, Decisions, Hooked, Go Die, No Religion. Just really political driven stuff. I think Dennis doesn't like this album very much, which cracks me up. But I like all their stuff. Don't get me wrong. But this is the album that got me into DRI. Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, fucking fantastic album. Staying in the vein with those weird thrash. 1986, I believe. This is my favorite Voivod album, Roar. Always Will Be. Fuck Off and Die is on this album. That's my favorite Voivod song of all time. To the Death, I love that. Build Your Weapons, Thrashing Rage, Hell Driver. I like the thrashing side better, but I love the ripping side as well, because it's got horror, Ripping Headaches, Slaughter in the Grave, of course Fuck Off and Die. Every freaking track on this is a banger, which everybody should know this album. And Voivod, Roar, fucking killer one. I didn't name this one's on Noise. It's a reissue. The other one's been really hitting the spot in this Anthrax album, the first one. I love all Anthrax stuff. This is the one I gravitate to the most. This one is spreading the disease, but this one has Death Rider, Scott Subjugator, Soldiers of Metal, Death from Above, Howling Furies. I like the instrumental. I believe has more of a kind of a new wave of British heavy metal, kind of speed metal kind of freaking thing going in it. I think it's that track. I could be wrong. I even like the fucking Alice Cooper cover on this album, 18. I think they did it justice. I know a lot of people don't really care for that track, but when I was a kid, I absolutely loved that track. I remember buying this album when I was a youngster on cassette, and when I first heard it, it didn't sound like the first album I heard was Spreading the Disease, and then I heard this one, and it didn't sound anything like that, and so I kind of put this on the back burner, and then got really into Anthrax and all their stuff, and went back and listened to this cassette when I had it, and it became an instant classic. And this is why they're part of the Big Four. I know a lot of people question why Anthrax is in the Big Four. Among the Living, Spreading the Disease, State of Euphoria, Persistence of Time, Fistful of Metal. That's why they're in the Big Four. Get out. Good stuff. Next one up I've been listening to a lot is Slaughter's Strapido, Canadian thrash metal, kind of death metal, I guess, a little bit. The band that first started the HM2 movement is from Canada, not Sweden. But I love how Sweden incorporated that sound and then took it as their own. But a lot of people don't know that this is a band that first started it. 1986. This one, of course, Strapido, Incinerator, Fuck Off and Off Death, Tortured Souls, that's a good one. Tales of the Macabre, Name to Please, One Foot in the Grave. Just a fun listen, real short listen, kind of like Hell Ripper, not Hell Ripper, but Hell Witch. Kind of in the same vein, but this is not as doesn't have the blast beats Hell Witch has, but love that artwork. Been really loving this album lately. Still one of my favorites. So Slaughter Strapido, been listening to quite a bit. Another crossover thrash band is Nuclear Assault's Game Over, which in my previous video I showed Handled with Care. My favorite track by this band is on Handled with Care, but as an album whole, it would be Game Over. I love the production on it. The guitar tone is really odd, kind of clean tone with a little dirt on it. But Cold Steel, Betrayal, Radiation Sickness, Hang the Pope After the Holocaust, Nuclear War, Vengeance, Brain Death. This is an absolute fucking banger. And I believe this is in my top 20 thrash metal albums of all time is this one. It's a killer fucking crossover. Love the artwork too. I like Survive as well, but I don't have that album. Got Game Over and a couple of the other ones. Another Canadian thrash record been listening to a lot as Razor, of course, the Evil Invaders. We spit on those who choose to pose. We thrash with all the rest. And this is no slouch. When was this recorded? 1985? If I'm reading right, this was released in 1985, which makes this one freaking speedy ass motherfucker from 1985 compared to what all this other stuff that was coming out. This would probably been the fastest record. I didn't know that. For some reason I thought it was released later. But anyway, this one's a killer one. Nowhere Fast, Cross Me Fool, Evil Invaders, Iron Hammer, Cutthroat, Thrash Dance. Absolute fucking banger. Absolute banger. Can't go wrong with this fucking album right here. And the last one I've been listening to this one a lot lately too. And this is a straight up thrash, I think. I don't know if this is crossover or not. Indestructible Noise Command, which sounds like a crossover thrash name. But yeah, this is an absolute fucking banger. INC. I got the Visitor and this one, and I have something else by this band, I think, somewhere. But yeah, this one, this is a riff, fantastic fucking album. I love the vocals. My favorite tracks on this is The Grip of Death, War Not Words, I love that one. Anarchy, The Pursuit of Happiness, which does sound like a crossover title. Razorback, the title track. Passageway Through Purgatory. And look at that album art. Fucking killer album. But anyway, that does it for this little bitty show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing these records and hearing me talk about this shit. So, and I will, and if any of these are unfamiliar, of course, I will post a link in the description below. And I think maybe later on I might do my favorite German Teutonic thrash albums, which I'm going to show this one again.